welcome to this presentation where we'll be critiquing Khan Academy as an online teaching and learning tool. Let's start by discussing some of the features offered by Khan Academy. So Khan Academy primarily is a repository of video lessons and practice exercises across several subjects such as math, science, English. It bow ties this experience through a gamification system where students can gather energy points, badges, and progress through skill trees. It also includes an AI chatbot for students and teachers. Some of the features for the Teacher AI tool include helping teachers plan lessons, create materials, differentiate text to meet the unique needs of their students. It also provides a teacher dashboard to help teachers know where their students are in terms of progression, and it can also offer recommendations for where the educator or the teacher should work next. Some of the features for the student side of the AI is that, of course, being an AI, it has limitless patience, so it can guide students to find the answers themselves for as long as it takes them. Users can learn from the AI, allowing for a dynamic learning for skills mastery, and of course is personalized and customizable by users. Now, when it comes to the influence on teaching and learning, all these features that we've mentioned can facilitate various online learning models that we've discussed in class, such as the flipped classroom, HiFlex, or blended learning. It's also worth mentioning that the videos are not lessons themselves, rather they're walkthroughs of the solution process for particular questions, and they often serve as the introduction to certain concepts. The videos typically start with limited information on screen and are essentially screen recordings of a black and blank canvas. The speaker's face isn't visible, only their voice is heard along with the on-screen writing, drawing, or annotations. And this speaks to Meyer's principle of multimedia learning, which essentially states that learners learn best when a mix of voice, text, and on-screen images and animations are used effectively. As for content and curriculum, the content that's on Khan Academy's website is tied to the Common Core state standards, not the Ontario curriculum. So this does mean that a teacher in Ontario, for instance, may need to spend additional time identifying the appropriate CCS topics that correspond with the Ontario curriculum. Khan Academy embeds game-like systems on its website, and this philosophy is rooted in educational research and gamification. So for example, the points-based system that they've implemented serves to incentivize students to master all the relevant skills. It also allows them to look back and see just how much they've learned. And then they also have avatar customization here on the right. Research indicates that personalization and self-representation can result in increased engagement and motivation. The immediacy of the feedback in the practice quizzes and tests is also worth mentioning. So for example, on the screen, what you're seeing here, number one, is that the student sees immediately that the answer they submitted was incorrect. And number two is that you can have another shot at it, or you can get some help or like a hint. Number three shows you your progress. So out of 4 problems, you're on the first problem and you have the chance to try again. It incentivizes the student to try again, learn from your mistakes, get help when you feel you need it, and so on. Now I'd like to pass it to my colleague Chris, who will be talking about the demographic information about Khan Academy's users.
Right, thank you, Asib. And with that, I will move on to the demographics. Khan Academy has a very significant usage of approximately 170 million users, with a breakdown between those users of about 150 million learners, 7 million educators, and 8 million parents. Which, if you take a look at the ratio between learners and educators, it's about 22-1, which is approximately what you might see in a classroom, indicating a proportionally similar usage between learners and educators of this platform, with proportionally less parents involved. With regards to the accessibility of this platform for students of all subjects, it is somewhat geared towards mathematics due to its origin, but it has recently been expanding to include other subjects. With regards to the global usage of Khan Academy, just over half of the users are North American, which makes sense due to the platform's focus on the US curriculum, but almost half of the users are international, which indicates that it is relevant and accessible all over the world. If you take a look at the graph on the right, we can see that the schools or districts that Khan Academy is partnered with tend to have an above average percentage of Black and Hispanic or Latino students, and also students who are involved in reduced cost or free lunch programs, which perhaps indicates that this free platform is particularly relevant amongst marginalized groups due to their race or socioeconomic status. And with that, I will pass you on to Kayon, who will cover some of the affordances and constraints of the platform.
So in order to look at the affordances of the use of Khan Academy, we're going to use the SAM model, which is a pedagogical framework to assess how technology changes the way we do classroom activities. And one aspect is the first aspect is substitution, which is the idea that because we can just simply do simple fact retrieval through prompting, like how we do in something like ChatGPT, and that replaces how we would use traditional textbook resources like textbooks. And then the next aspect of the model is using augmentation, which is when we actually look at functional changes. And basically, the tutoring system allows for very instantaneous feedback when students practice their problems. Teachers can also modify components to generate lesson plans, so help with differentiation for student needs. And then when we look at the higher levels of the model, we can look at modification, which is when we look at inquiry-based learning for our students. Instead of students looking at typical resources like textbooks and web pages, the prompting kind of allows them to have a really guided experience. So you can see how, let's say, a phenomenon acts in various different environments or different applications, or how different applications have different behaviors in a sense. So those are ways in which that could be more instantaneous. And then with the redefinition process, we're going to looking at how that inquiry-based learning is now heightened using specific Kamigo tools, such as debating or conversation with a historical figure. So, for example, here's one in which we can debate about a political topic in terms of economics, and also we can look at historical figures, and there's also ability for literary figures as well. And in terms of the constraints of the tool, it is an American tool, so the curriculum integrations are American centered. So if you're a Canadian student and you try to sign up for Comigo, it will not let you, although Canadian teachers do have access to the tool. Um, Also, the tool is completely web integrated, meaning that you cannot just simply download it and have it locally onto your computer, so it's less accessible. And finally, it's mainly a tool for tutoring and one-on-one interactions. Very not much opportunity for collaborative learning, and also minimal integration with other LMS platforms like Google Classroom.
Hi, my name is Rohit, and I'll talk about ethical considerations of Khan Academy. Both their traditional and AI version do good on ethical considerations. I have used this online screening tool to do the assessment. As you can see, it follows clear guidelines for responsible AI development and follows some standard frameworks like NIST and the ethical framework for AI in education. And on their website, we can find very easily the accessibility statement where they have adopted the web content accessibility guidelines to deliver accessible content, and their mission is to provide free education to anyone and anywhere in the world. Now, coming back to the ethical considerations, I have given 5 stars for their inclusivity, 4 star for accessibility because AI Canmigo is not yet available in Canada, 4 stars in bias free. If I would have given 2 or 3 because LLM in itself is biased, but they have put strong guardrails to make it mostly risk free, so it's 4 stars. 5 stars in human centered approach, 5 star in value added, 4 stars in choice. They give students choice to access their environment without even signing in to enhance privacy. Only 2.5 stars in explainable because we can't understand what kind of algorithms they are using, and their transparency reports are not publicly available. 5 star in trackability because they display clear cut data collection details, and 4 star in clear because most of their content on the website is clearly available. That's it from me. Now I'll hand it over to Labib to take it over. Thank you.
Hi, this is Labib. I'll be going over further assessments of ethical considerations. I'll start by looking at safety. When we consider privacy, ConMigo and Khan Academy respects Canadian privacy laws and follows PIPEDA-like practices. PIPEDA stands for the Personal Information Protection and Electronic Document Acts, which is Canada's federal privacy law for private sector organizations. Khan Academy states that it does not share any personal information with OpenAI for training purposes. OpenAI is the company providing AI services to Khan. Furthermore, parents do have access to their children's conversation with Khan. While this may be for oversight, it could also be seen as an infringement of students' privacy. That said, children's accounts are restricted from sharing any personal information. Now, if we consider security, ConMigo and Khan Academy use industry standard security measures, such as strong encryption for data storage and transfers. They conduct regular security audits and external penetration testing to check for vulnerabilities. They also have 24/7 monitoring and respond quickly to any threats that may arise. Their platform is considered robust. The infrastructure is reliable, stable, and support a strong user experience. It is built to withstand traffic spikes and system outages. For example, during weekends when students are more likely to use the platform. The system also receives frequent updates to address emerging security risks. Now, let's consider accountability. Khan Academy and Khan Migo are transparent about the limitations of AI and the factual errors it may produce. Teachers are advised to use human oversight consistently. The AI is designed to guide learning, not to give direct answers to students. They also take measures to filter harmful, biased, or unsafe content. Khan Migo and Khan Academy also addresses civil liberties. The platform is non-discriminatory and aims to treat all learners equally. It is designed to provide equal access for all users. Teachers and parents are given oversight of how the platform is used. However, one limitation is that Khan Migo may favor Western narratives in subjects like history, literature, or current events, which could marginalize other perspectives. In terms of local and international law, Khan Academy aligns with major student data protection laws, such as COPPA in the US, and follows similar to Canada's PIPEDA. There is no commercial use of student data for profit, as Khan Academy operates as a non-profit organization. Their terms of use and privacy policies are publicly available. This concludes the presentation.